All right, watch any late-night TV host, and it becomes clear they share the same script or the same brain.
They say it's inappropriate to be talking about it because it's too soon. Well, maybe it's too soon for you because deep down inside, you know, in your heart, you know you bear some responsibility.
They always say that a gun tragedy is never the right time to talk about stopping the next gun tragedy.
I'm sorry that we live in a world where there are people who will put a gun before your lives.
So as they echo similar emotions minus the facts, some impugn you if you offer statistics that deflate their case. As the media acts as if you're trying somehow to silence them, is this silence?
The bar is so low right now that Congress can be heroes by doing about it literally
because it's too soon.
I think that
maybe it's too soon for you.
Not silence. But I prefer facts when it comes to guns. But other hosts, they don't. So why is that? First, you're in entertainment to be loved. And all that attention that you get from saying this stuff just encourages you to do it more. It's a drug that makes up for something. Second, they don't know any better. One night of reading could disabuse them of their biases, but don't hold your breath. Third, it's a class thing. Celebs and media already look down on gun owners. It's the South, Republicans, Trump voters. If you like the Second Amendment, you must be a toothless hick who fries squirrels with your half-sister on a date. Finally, they feel guilty about the role they play in a culture that thrives on glorified violence. They hate guns, except when they make them money. So after all the emotions evaporate, all you got are facts. Vegas was a well-planned mass execution by one man in a sea of 7 billion people. One fiend who created a larger impact than his life deserves, affecting thousands. We need to make such infamy meaningless. Reduce that media footprint. That's why we didn't show his face tonight. But it's going to happen again, and it could be worse. Terror thrives on a learning curve. This event just taught terrorists a thing or two. The Fiend's targets, they were all open-air venues. We need to get ahead of this. Not just about bump stocks, but barriers. Embrace security. Prevent such attacks with new technology. Could a swarm of drones shield us against a terrorist at an outdoor concert? That seems plausible. This is where solutions come from, not from comics armed with emotions, but adults armed with knowledge. Last, it's got to be hard for you to be lectured by well-protected celebrities who exist in the rarefied air of Bel Air or Upper Manhattan with no need for firearms. Their security team is strapped. You don't have that luxury. See, I'm one of the people that I don't mind when people express their emotional anger or whatever partisan side that they take. Yeah. But I don't like it when they impugn your motives. When Kimmel says, well, it makes you feel bad because he knows that you're guilty.
You value a gun more than a life.
Right.
So, no, maybe I actually value my life and the lives of my family, and that's why I own many guns, not just one gun. Because when you're in a tough situation, either you take initiative or you don't. And you know, a lot of folks don't live in the middle of a city where the cops on every street corner. You live where there's a county sheriff who's 10 minutes away, and you make a phone call, and you either have that moment or not. The left will always exploit. Rahm Emanuel said, never pass an opportunity or a crisis to advance your agenda. They will continue to do that. And this is another example. Listen, I don't know why the Republicans, conservatives, the NRA should never retreat on this issue. This is a country of gun owners who have it for a reason, because we are free people in a free society. And unfortunately, in a free society, it allows a maniac like this guy to maniacally plan something like this and execute it. You can't policymaker your way out of everything. You need to stand by your principles.
Tyrus, I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that the people voicing these opinions live in areas that are well protected. Like if you're in a studio, you're surrounded by guys with guns. And the rest of America, they're living in places where it takes a while for the cops to get there. That doesn't happen where they are.
Well, I think...
I mean, you're a bodyguard.
Right. And, and it's funny because most of the time I never carried a piece because seeing the piece on me usually made guys jump faster. So I would have a smaller guy like your size who would carry the gun because they would focus on me and hit blasts. No, that's real talk. That's why I did it. My boy Rico was your height.
Really?
Nobody saw him. And if they did see him, it was the last thing they saw. So I won't, but I'm thanking God his ass had a 45.
Yeah.
I don't think we should ever have the conversation about regulating Americans owning guns. That's our right.
Yeah.
And you can't take that away. I do think, though, if you want to own 50 guns and you want to have a warehouse full of bullets, then maybe there should be some form of registering, or maybe the FBI steps in at some point and be just checking to see why you have this many, you know, if it's extreme, you know what I'm saying?
Who draws the line?
And that's the conversation. Where do we draw the line? What do we think is acceptable? Me personally, 50 seems, that seems like a good number, you know, but because I only got 2 hands, you know, so.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I don't want someone telling me what I can and cannot own. I own guns. Right. My friend own guns. But, you know, I think there's something to be in there. But we have to be careful because we live in a time where people don't really want to fix problems. Because you made a great point. Defense. If we make, like, look, because there's an argument about the trucks, you know, the truck and knife and all that kind of stuff. Well, when the situation happened with the planes, TSA, everything changed.
Right.
The airports changed. You had to go through annoying security. But we haven't had an incident.
Yeah.
So maybe our hotels.
I think you're right.
Knowing security.
I think
that they scan your bag. I know it's a pain in the ass, but it's hard for him to get 10 bags of guns in when there's a guy going, sir, what's this? Oh, sorry, you're going to jail.
No, I think you're right. I actually think that. I know a lot of people, Mark, are complaining about that, about the fact that they're going to go into casinos and they're going to put up but it works.
Creates jobs, too.
Yeah, but eventually people are going to resent that. If everything you do, you got to go through a security checkpoint. You made a good point that you thought it was, you know, Bel Air and Midtown Manhattan condescending to the South. I'd also say I think it's these celebrities, late night guys, it's the rest of the world condescending to America. Because I notice about some of these late night guys, you got Trevor Noah, you got, what's he called? James Corden, you got John Oliver. And I don't know about you guys, but if there's one thing I really can't stand, it's like some snot-nosed foreigner with some weirdo accent telling you guys what's wrong with your country. And I don't know. And as I'm the only snot-nosed foreigner without my own late-night show, I don't know what I'm doing wrong. But these guys, I don't know why Americans put up with it. Why do you what's the point of July the 4th, 1776, if you got all these British Commonwealth guys like Trevor Noah and John Oliver hogging up your airtime?
It's true. I like that you argued against your own opinion. Kat, last word. What do you think? What do you make of this? Where do you want to go?
Whenever a tragedy like this happens, it always splits into the people who argue against the Second Amendment protections, the people that argue for the protections. But the Second Amendment is the argument, okay? Leftists always want to say we have to get all the guns off the streets and, you know, it's obsolete. The Second Amendment obsolete. No, it isn't. It's not obsolete until 2/3 of both houses and 3/4 of states agree that it is, or the Constitutional Convention method as detailed in Article 5. That's how we do things here, okay? It's just either the Constitution protects your freedoms or it doesn't, so you have to respect it. I'm fine for sensible gun control, but you have to look at it through a constitutional lens, and getting rid of all guns is not constitutional.
But I'm emotional about it, so I'll take your Constitution and set it aside.